Everyone, hello, happy Wednesday. We are back for our workshop Wednesday. I know we took a break last week because we had our virtual career expo, but this week we are going to be chatting about LinkedIn. My name is Tara Stevenson, and I serve as the Dean of Student Engagement and Career Development here at Flagler. I'm excited to have you joining us once more for another workshop. Don't forget to remind me to give you a co-curricular word at the end. And then as always, feel free to put some different things in the chat. I'll be able to pull those questions from either our Facebook page, our YouTube page, or today I am actually going through my Twitter account and Instagram right here. So I'll definitely be watching for some of those. But we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and we did this workshop in the spring, and of course I think it was a little bit difficult because we were trying to use some different comparisons for people to understand it, and I didn't want it to come across as we weren't cognizant of what everybody's going through, but the example that we used really helped us to understand the impact and the power of LinkedIn. And so as we go through some of these examples, if you have any questions or you'd like to chat through things, definitely please toss them into the comments either through any of our outlets on the computer or on Instagram here. I'd be more than happy to answer them. As always, if you do have questions afterwards or you're joining us at another time, you can email us at careerdevelopment@flagler.edu. But LinkedIn, I think, is such an underutilized resource that is out there. I think it can kind of be intimidating a little bit because the way I explain it is a professional Facebook, basically. I think we look at it as, oh, I've got to put my professional life up there, and I don't know if I have anything to even put out there yet. And so how can I even utilize this system if I don't have any professional experience yet? And I don't want you to look at it that way, because LinkedIn can help you build some of that professional experience. And especially as a student or a new professional, you have experience that we can put in there, whether it's experience on campus, whether it's part-time positions. Very similarly to what we talked about with your resumes, we can toss that now virtually. And I feel like LinkedIn can also be utilized as a website for you, or a portfolio that you can put different pieces into. That's definitely a newer development that I have seen for usage with the system. And I think it's definitely helping users be able to put a whole lot of information in one central location for them. Definitely consider LinkedIn as this business and employment-oriented social networking. It does have a feed where you can post different things. I like to tell people it's kind of weird to me if I see something that's personal that's posted there, because I haven't gone to LinkedIn to see any personal updates. I've gone there for more of my own professional information. And then it's also a platform to help build your brand. And your brand could be that you are looking to be hired in a certain industry. A brand could be that you are looking to increase your own freelance, or that you're trying to build your own network within the industry. So this is one of my most favorite comparisons when I look at all the different social media outlets and how we can understand the purpose for each one and the purpose for LinkedIn. And so let's say that we are looking at the concept of donuts. I love donuts. It's Wednesday. Shout out to our Flagler alumni relations office. They, I know, are missing the opportunity to provide donuts on Wednesday and coffee, but we are going to bring donuts to them on this Wednesday and let them know that we're thinking about them. And so with Facebook, when we think about when we're sharing information on Facebook, is we would say, I want a donut. It comes up onto the feed and we just kind of put it out there. With Snapchat, it's watch me eat a donut. And so I'm going to take this little video and you're going to watch me eat it. Twitter is looking at it as, I have opinions about donuts. Instagram is, here's a cool photo of my donut. And Pinterest is, here's a donut recipe. So it's the same exact concept for all of them, thinking about donuts. But now you've got donuts on LinkedIn, and let's look at how we can focus on those in lots of different ways through LinkedIn. Number one, I'm looking for a job in the donut industry. Number 2, I have 3 years experience of donut making. 3, my top skills are donut production and sales. 4, here are 3 recommendations from donut colleagues. Or here are 3 recommendations that I have for you for donuts. And so hopefully that example has been able to show you, the same concept and how it can be used in all these different social media outlets. I know for me, that really helped me with explaining this concept, because each social media outlet in the end does have its own purpose, and we all utilize it as different tools. And so thinking about LinkedIn as it isn't necessarily something that I'm going to find fun at, or that I'm going to get lost in necessarily in a social way or for fun, but that I could get lost in it for finding jobs. I could get lost in it for building my network. I could get lost in it to see, like, who can I connect with that can really help benefit me later on in the end. There is the feed that we mentioned, but then you also have your profile on there. And there are amazing LinkedIn profile checklists. And we'll go through kind of what to include in your profile, and then how you can start going through the different sections and how you can start utilizing the different areas of the system. Your LinkedIn profile checklist, this is your opportunity to have a photo. So we talked about that with resumes. We don't put photos up on there, but you can put a professional photo up on LinkedIn. I encourage you to use a professional photo on LinkedIn, because people are coming to see you as a professional. There are such wonderful opportunities to be creative with headshots now, especially in the different industries. And so whether it's got some landscape in the back, whether it's got you in the industry, anything like that, like that's the top thing that people see. They see your face next to your name if they're searching. And so I do love to see a photo up there. Your headline, this is something that will come right there underneath your name. And this could be soon to be strategic communication graduate seeking full-time position. Or this could be expanding my network in the Northeast region, looking to connect. Those are headlines to let people know a little bit more about you. A summary is the next section, and that's where you can choose to put maybe a few sentences about yourself. Or if you like putting bullets a little bit more, we could add a few little bullets. I will tell you, personally, for me, I don't like seeing a long list or a lot of paragraphs in the summary, because thinking about if somebody's visiting your profile, are they going to keep scrolling through all of that? Because you want them to get to the important stuff. So let that summary be a summary, and then let all of your experiences in your sections really speak to you. Next will be your experience, and that's where you can plug in a lot of different things. One thing I hope that you'll all know is when you're visiting LinkedIn, whether it's for the first time or whether it's coming back to it, LinkedIn has this wonderful way of helping you to build your profile. And so it will have sections on there that it will say, hey, why don't you go ahead and add your summary? Why don't you go ahead and consider adding your education? Consider adding your headline now. You can go through and it will have all the different sections that you can then pick and choose to puzzle out your LinkedIn profile. And I love that that always helps. I've been on LinkedIn for quite some time now, and each time that I go in there, it will make some different recommendations. Have I had any new certifications that I want to add in there? Do I have any portfolio or website pieces that I would like to add into there? And I can choose to say yes or no. You can enhance your portfolio even further now by customizing your URL, and then you can put that onto your resume. I think that it's pretty cool to see a LinkedIn reference on a resume, especially if you're wanting people to go visit it. If you're putting it out on your resume, that means that you're wanting people to visit it. And so I think that that's definitely something important to consider, is as you're building your network and you're wanting to drive traffic there, you know that that profile is looking the way that you want it to. You can add a background photo. I really think that a background photo can go right or wrong very quickly. It can showcase your brand. It can allow you to put a quote up there. I think I have a quote in my own background photo. It could be your alma mater, and so you could put Flagler College, a picture of Flagler in there, a nice high-res photo in there. You can upload PowerPoints. You can upload different pieces into there. And so what, again, a wonderful opportunity to have this online portfolio if you don't want to build a whole website. That's not necessarily something that we all know how to do. You can upload your resume and other important documents that you'd like for people to see. And so those of us that were in majors that had different project pieces or different artifacts that you want to showcase, you could upload them onto your LinkedIn profile. And then always make sure that you have a complete profile. That's huge. So what are the important pieces? Your education, your experience, if you wanted to add any classes, any call to action could be in that headline. So are you wanting to expand that network, or are you wanting to find a job? So once you've got your profile all complete and up to date, that's when you can start connecting, and that's when you can start driving that traffic back. Before I move into building that network and connecting with people, I do a little trick that I like, and of course, whenever we're talking about different things like that, everybody has always different opinions and stuff. If you've worked so hard on your resume and you've got your resume all set up, I think it's okay to copy and paste that content from your resume to put into your LinkedIn profile. Why reinvent the wheel? We are still trying to look through things very quickly, especially if we're trying to navigate through a lot of different profiles or a lot of different applicants. And so sometimes we'll see that people have those beautiful bullet points on their resume, and then we go to their LinkedIn profile and it's very lengthy, and they've chosen to go into more sentences. I don't know if that's necessarily benefiting you, and if people are spending more time there. Plus, that also took more of your own time to create those. And so why not just, copy and paste for that content? So let's go ahead and jump now back into the building your connections. I absolutely love the alumni tool for Flagler, where you can find alumni easily through the Flagler College LinkedIn page. When I say that this is one of my favorite tools that I 100% believe is underutilized, I am putting my entire, opinion behind that. I met with a student today where I showed them how to search for sport management alumni in a certain geographic area. And all of a sudden, we had over 100 alumni that were in this geographic area that studied the same exact thing as this student. We talked about how LinkedIn is this professional network, and so your intention is to connect with people. It's not weird to connect with strangers on LinkedIn. If you walk away with anything from today, it's not weird to connect and reach out to strangers on LinkedIn, because you are going about it in a professional way. One thing that's wonderful if you're using the alumni tool to build your contact base through LinkedIn is you already have one connection with that individual, is you both have gone to Flagler. And either you're a current student or you're a graduate, you've got that Flagler connection right off the bat. And so when you're reaching out to these strangers, you can say, I see that we both have gone to Flagler, or I see that you graduated a few years ago and I am currently in the same program that you went to. Or it could be that you're reaching out to Flagler alumni that are not in the same program as you, but they're in the industry, or they're in the company, or they're in the geographic region that you want. Again, it's not weird to reach out to them because you have that connection of Flagler. Plus, when you are making those connections through LinkedIn, it is in that professional manner. And so think about, we're applying for jobs with people that we don't know. And that's okay. Like, it's not frowned upon, like it's just kind of a given. And thinking about LinkedIn that same way. And so you can utilize the alumni tool by searching geographic region. You can search by what they do, their work industry, or what they studied. And so now you've got all these filter tools by 4 different things that you can then begin reaching out to. And you'll see that there are current students listed in there just as much as there are alumni, but you can easily connect, and then you can start messaging. This is where you can connect with them to ask about maybe an informational interview. Hey, I'm getting ready for my full-time internship next semester, and I see that you're in an industry that I'm very interested in. Is there an opportunity for us to maybe chat? During this pandemic, and because we've all had to quarantine and we've all been limited to our technology, the power of LinkedIn and the power of building these networks right now is so huge. Because why not take this opportunity to have these conversations, either over the phone or virtually, where you can find out about what these people are doing. You can find out what they're doing through the pandemic. You could find out maybe how the pandemic has affected them professionally. Are they searching for something just as much? But you could also ask them about their journey. Again, they've been here on campus just as you have been here on campus. And so what did it look like from their last step here at Flagler to where they are now? And what did that path look like? Because they may have studied this, and then we love to find out that they're all the way into something else. And how did they make that path? And we're able to foster those relationships through LinkedIn. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I haven't been able to do it, but I love when I get to visit with alumni in different regions. And so in past semesters, I've been able to go up to New York or to DC or to Dallas and connect with some of our alumni there. And I love using the alumni tool in LinkedIn to find these people. My one connection is that I'm at Flagler as an employee, as they were at Flagler as a graduate. And so for me, it's not too bad. I've also used it to reach out to individuals that are in those geographic regions that went to my own undergraduate or my own graduate schools. That's been kind of interesting because we only have that experience from school from a while ago in common. But again, it's not weird to reach out to strangers, especially if we're looking at it from that professional standpoint. So we've talked about our profile. We've talked about how to engage with alumni. And the other opportunity to build your network is to also join and engage in groups. There are so many groups that serve different purposes. And the groups could be active, or it could just be something that where a lot of people within the same purpose are joining together on their profiles. And it could be that it's a club or organization. It could be that it's just people who are in the industry. It could be that it's an association that has something on there. It could be that they share job postings. It could be information sharing that's within that group. There have been many times where with one of my professional associations, I have gone to the LinkedIn group and I have typed out a little question to people and said, hey, I'm struggling with how we can engage our students with X, Y, and Z. Have you all had any successes? And sometimes we'll get responses that way. So here are some other little tidbits is staying up to date. Staying up to date on your profile is huge because job seekers are utilizing the system just as much as recruiters are utilizing the system. You have the ability to set certain parameters on your profile to say that you are actively looking for jobs. You could also set it to where you may say, I'm not actively looking, but I'd be open to a conversation, or I'd be open to hearing about what you have to say. I don't think that's bad. It's great to just have those conversations. It's great to know that you're valued and that somebody is seeing your profile and finding value in what you could potentially offer to them. By having that conversation, you're not saying that you're going to leave your current position or that you're guaranteeing that you're going to jump that hurdle and join them. But it's just letting them know that, you know, you're open to it. And then, of course, the other thing is that you can set it as private and that you're the only one that's fostering some of those connections. Definitely submit some different updates 2 to 3 times per week if you're 2 to 3 times per month if you're actively trying to use the system to its fullest. You can find wonderful articles through LinkedIn, and so you could maybe publish your own, or you could share others. I've seen people use LinkedIn as a blog of sorts where they are sharing a best practice or they're sharing an experience and they're putting it out there in conjunction with their profile. I think that that can be a wonderful engagement tool to get some feedback on things or to see what others are doing. Why not write about your own journey trying to find an internship during the pandemic? Why not write about your journey as a brand new graduate during the pandemic? It could be wonderful to see if other people who are going through that same experience are commenting, or if people are finding your own resiliency and your own advocacy and your own strength and saying, I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about this. The other area of LinkedIn is job searching. I love the job board. I like to tell individuals the more you fill out in your profile, the jobs will then start to be recommended to you through LinkedIn service. I always try to remember this, but if anybody does have any questions and they want to type them in at any point, please do. And I will definitely be monitoring them both here on Instagram and then on our other channels that we're coming to you from. You can click up on the jobs tab with LinkedIn. You can search by the date posted. So if you're coming to it pretty regularly and you want to see ones that are recent, you could search by a company. I personally like searching by experience level, especially when I'm working with our soon-to-be graduates or our recent graduates, because it does help to funnel through and filter through some of these postings that I'm not getting aggravated if I'm finding things that are only for a highly experienced individual. You could search also by location. Connecting with recruiters is a definite benefit with LinkedIn. I think any good recruiter is utilizing the system to their fullest and to their best ability. And so showing yourself that way and that you're open to meeting with recruiters. You could search by companies or by industries and then reach out to different recruiters. And letting those recruiters know that you're open. You can put different settings in there. That's a note to a recruiter that says, I can start immediately after graduation in May of 2021. Or I'm graduating in a semester, but I'd love to start the conversation now. I think that will go a whole lot farther if you're putting that sort of message out there, because right off the bat, it's showing that you're being active and that you're proactively trying to search and trying to connect with people. So we've gone over a whole lot of different pieces with LinkedIn. We talked about your profile and all the different pieces that can go into your profile. One thing I didn't mention is I love seeing the community involvement. I like that there's an opportunity to show that on your LinkedIn profile. I also love that you can connect with associations or show that you're a part of those and they'll show up on your profile. When you are entering experiences, you're entering them very similarly to what you did on your resume. And so you can list your job title and you can then put the company. And if the company is on LinkedIn, then you're linking it to that company. I think that can go very far for you as well because it allows it to be clickable. You can also, and one thing that I didn't say about this with your profile, is you can ask for recommendations. And I think this is such a wonderful way to have some strength to your profile with each of your different experiences or your positions. When I talk about recommendations, is you can reach out to another individual who is on LinkedIn and request for them to write a recommendation for you based off of the specific experience that you're referencing. And it could be that they were a supervisor or a coworker or we love group projects. Maybe they were in the group project with you and you had a really good experience with them. That recommendation will link again directly to that experience, and it's just a few sentences. Obviously, people can be a little bit more lengthy if they'd like, but just seeing a few little sentences for all of your different experiences can go a long way from a lot of different people. And then you'll have a recommendations section on your LinkedIn profile that outlines all of them. I do recommend asking for recommendations every few years, especially if you started something new. or if you are job searching, go ahead and reach out. It could be faculty members, it could be a supervisor. It could even be a supervisor who they themselves has transitioned away from that company, but they can still speak to your experience. So we've got our profile. We've talked about building our network. So we can utilize the search function in LinkedIn. And you can search for different people. You can search by industry again. I would love for everybody that's watching this to check out that alumni feature and start connecting with people. You can also see if you share connections with anybody when you're reaching out to them. And so I tell students and alumni all the time, if you see that we're connected, I don't mind if you utilize me in that way to say, hey, I was at a workshop and Tara had talked about connecting with other alumni. I see that we both are connected with Tara on LinkedIn, and I'd love to chat with you more. That's this power of networking that we keep talking about, and I don't want that word networking to be intimidating whatsoever. We've talked about different ways that you can share updates. I do like kind of sometimes scrolling through the feed to see what people are doing professionally, if they're advertising something, if they're showcasing a new skill, if they're asking some questions, and sometimes seeing how people are responding to them. I myself am not necessarily one that I post a whole lot, but I do sometimes like to engage in the comments, or I like to mine some information from those comments and those posts. If I were to be actively job searching, or if you are actively job searching, then obviously we would want to see a bit more activity within that feed. And then lastly, we've talked about the job board. And so LinkedIn is a wonderful job board that can find positions for you, or that you can find positions. I always like to make sure that I state this in any LinkedIn workshop that I'm doing, is my brother, my sister-in-law, and my father-in-law have all gotten jobs off of LinkedIn. One of them connected with an individual that they used to work with and just asked about any new opportunities. And that individual, via the messaging, connected them with somebody else who was hiring. And then they were able to start a conversation about a new position with that company. They sold themselves as a type of candidate. And this company thought, you know what, I really appreciate what you have to bring. Another one was different jobs were recommended, and my father-in-law was job searching, and so he had just clicked on it and saw it, applied, and went from there. And then, of course, the Mecca, which I know this happens, but it doesn't happen to all of us, but I do have to share it. My brother was randomly reached out to on LinkedIn by a company, did a little bit of research, and thought, you know what, why not try to strike up a conversation and let's see what they have to say. And he is happily working there right now. And he didn't have anywhere on his resume that he was job searching, on his profile that he was job searching, but they did see value in him. They were looking for more people within his area, and so he won out on that. You can apply for positions right through LinkedIn, or sometimes the job postings will direct you to their external sites. But I think that is all that I have for LinkedIn. I know that a lot of our workshops have been just about 30 to 45 minutes, and so we are right underneath the 30-minute mark. I know I am so glad that y'all have joined us. It was tough missing out on last week, but if you did participate in our virtual Career Expo and have some feedback for us, I would love to know about that. We purposely did schedule LinkedIn today following the Career Expo so that you could utilize LinkedIn to connect with any of the recruiters or the companies that you were engaging with last week at the Career Expo. We are looking at different ways to have career expos for the spring semester, or networking fairs for the Career Expo, or for networking fairs for the spring semester. So I don't know if they're going to be virtual like they were, but we are looking into different things. And so if you do have feedback for us, let us know. Co-curricular word for this week will be profile. I know I am switching it up and it's not the title of the workshop, but I have thoroughly been excited by those that have been sending in the co-curricular word either right after we finish now or that they've been watching it a few days later and send it in. So profile. Email that to careerdevelopment@flagler.edu and let us know that you've participated in this workshop. Of course, if we can help out with your profile or you'd like to run through some things, please let us know. I think with our virtual appointments, we can easily share the screen. And so you'll be able to show us your profile and we can have a discussion on it. Or if you're in person, we can go ahead and pull up your profile. We have had appointments where students say, I have no idea what I'm doing and I just want to start with creating a profile right now with you. Let's do it. We've had others that say, I've started and I'd like to go through the different sections. Can you help me with that? And you can always email us at careerdevelopment@flagler.edu, or you can log into Handshake right there and let us know a day and time that works best for you. And that goes for our undergraduate students and current students, as well as any of our graduates. We'd be more than happy to help you. So as I like to say during this time, please stay safe and healthy during this. Next week, I believe we're going to be talking about the job and internship search. And so yes, LinkedIn is one of those tools, but we'll also be talking about maybe some other industries during this time and other tools that we could maybe utilize that aren't just this LinkedIn wonderfulness. I am very excited to keep encouraging everybody to vote, register to vote, get your voice heard. I know they're doing a couple different programs that are out on campus, and so any information that we can share for that. But wish you all well. Happy Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you all soon. Bye.